All right, folks, welcome back to the Sean Fontana podcast. We're on episode 8, and I hope you enjoyed episode 7. It was a bit controversial, also a bit biased because I do wear the Vaporfly, NYX percents and 4%. I get a few, people trolling me on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and do you know what I say to that? Back off, I don't care. I'm voicing my opinion. It's freedom of speech, a good old American amendment, freedom of speech there, all the Yanks have got freedom over there, that's what they think anyway. I say it's like the Simpsons, that big dome over Springfield. Anyway, episode 8 is on the Barcelona half marathon and my training on the lead up and my experience there. So as I got to Barcelona, the old red-eye flight out around 7:30 in the morning. So that was fun. But before I even got there, when I parked up the car, I was on the bus going to the airport and I was like, shit. I had that panicking feeling that I left the window down in the car. But it was pissing a rain, it was blowing a gale. Was it Hurricane Dennis or whatever his name was out? And the reason I had the window down was because on the motorway, I farted, had to get the stink out just in case it was back in the car when I get back from Barcelona on the Sunday. So in my eyes I was thinking, did I put that window down? Did I? I was like, shit. And I wanted to ask the guy who was driving the bus, the transfer, to go round the roundabout and go back, but there was enough few people on there, so I thought, nah, I shouldn't do that, it's a bit selfish. So I was like, oh goodness, is my car going to be flooded when I get back? But winner, chicken dinner. The fart smell was still there and the window was up. So all good. My car was nice and dry and safe. So then also, I know people ask, about the flight and things like that, and it messes up your legs and you get puffy legs, etc. So a wee tip to prevent that is wearing compression socks. So I wear compression socks up to my calves, knee high compression, just to prevent the old calves looking as if they're baking bread in my socks. So compression socks were worn on the flight. I use the Nike ones, and then also popped a few of my X Endurance Immune Boost and a few Baroccas to get dosed up on the multivits, because let's face it, being on a flight is bloody minging, and the flight to Valencia went catastrophically where I got bronchitis. This time, touch wood, I'm all good, so not caught any coughs or colds, so I'm happy with that, so it must have worked. Didn't wear a mask as well, so, wasn't too crazy about not catching anything, and maybe that was also the reason why I might have not caught anything, because I wasn't, so stressed about catching something, because I knew I was just going over to Barcelona to train and not to race and try and run a fast time or whatever. So yeah, a few Baroccas, 10 days leading up to the flight, every single day, having a Barocca and my X Endurance multivits. Then on the flight, two and a half hour flight, I listened to an audiobook and also a wee podcast. So audiobook I'm listening to just now is on Cadell Evans, he's a cyclist who's a legend in the sort of pro cycling in the Tour de France and things like that. So listen to him. Still not finished it, but do recommend it. I think I'm on the part where he joins BMC cycling, and I think this is on his way to winning his first Tour de France, I think, not too sure. And then also I was listening to Gwen Jorgensen, that chick that's on YouTube that's with the Bowerman Track Club. Listen to her podcast with Mr. Rich Roll. He is vegan and preaches vegan, so I listened to his podcast on interviewing Gwen Jorgensen, which was pretty cool. I fell asleep, but that wasn't because it was boring, that's because I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So no offence, but I do like listening to an audiobook or a podcast to help me go to sleep at night, and also on a plane to help me switch off. So yeah, Gwen Jorgensen is who was a former swimmer in the NCAA, then moved to track, and then quit to become an office accountant, I think it was, and then took up triathlon and won Rio 2016 at the Olympics. And now she's wanting to win the Olympic marathon, and now she's joined Birmingham Track Club. So she's got like YouTube videos out and how she trains, what she does for recovery, what she eats to maintain good bone health, etc. So I watch her YouTube videos. They're quite good and quite inspirational. Especially she's going through a lot of injuries. So if any injured athletes out there, she's quite good at keeping you focused, keeping you motivated, and helping you gain perspective. Then also, when I got off the plane, I bumped into some fellow Scottish athletes, because basically, as I got off the plane, I was set on my 4G working on my mobile to get me to the hotel. And because of Brexit, the fucker didn't work. Basically, my device didn't work. I'm with Virgin Mobile, so I don't know if that's the only mobile provider that's affected with Brexit, because Craig Ruddy and Callum Reid, they both had 4G. I didn't. So I don't know, Virgin Mobile, the EU and non-British, I don't know, but my phone was a black brick for the 4 days I was out in Barcelona, unless I was connected to Wi-Fi. So thank God I bumped into Callum Reid, because it seems like he's travelled like a well-travelled gypsy. I'm not saying he's a gypsy, I'm just saying they're well-travelled. And yeah, he helped me locate my hotel safely without getting pickpocketed by the Barcelona gypsies. So once I get back to the hotel, I had a nice wee nap, and then went a 12-mile run along the coast, which was really nice. It's always a nice way to see a city, is to go a nice long run through it. Or do a half marathon, one of the two, maybe a marathon, who knows. And then as I get back to the hotel, it was probably around, I probably got to the hotel before I went running about 3 o'clock, 3:30. Went a run about 5 after a wee nap, and then finished my run about 6:30. And it's just about getting dark, and then the old Barcelona drug dealers were on the corner out in force asking if I want some coffee shop. That's quote unquote marijuana, weed, etc. I was like, sorry mate, I'm all good. I'm here for a race, not to get wasted. So that was my Thursday night, and then on Friday Craig got in. Went and got him from the subway station. But before that, I had another guy come up to me and ask me for some money. Just as well Craig came along, because it was going to turn into Deontay Wilder and Gypsy King 2, because I was losing my shit. I was telling him I don't speak Spanish, and basically everybody knows fuck off is universal in every language. And then he was trying to walk towards me, and I did want to throw my fist. But luckily some locals saved me, and Craig Ruddy was there, and we swiftly got away from that incident. So my temper was capped on that one. But getting to the hotel, let's just say it was cosy. I could probably reach my arms out and touch each wall. And yeah, so me and Craig were cozied up on a little twin hotel room. But all good, it was nice to get away and see the nice buildings in Barcelona. I really do recommend it if people are into their history, into the sort of their buildings, the architecture. It is such a everywhere you go, everywhere you turn, just beautiful churches and epic buildings, and that's coming from somebody who doesn't really appreciate that as much as what somebody who does love history and does love architecture would really love. Barcelona is actually a beautiful city. And yeah, we're just there spending time. Me and Craig sort of googled 10 best coffee shops in Barcelona. We got an underground ticket, and we went coffee shop hopping, and it was brilliant. Coffee here, coffee there. My favourite coffee shop was Black Remedy, because it was bloody cool. and the food was amazing and the coffee was amazing. It was so smooth. I think Craig's favourite was Nomad coffee because all they sold was coffee. You know, you couldn't go in there and get a cake, you couldn't get like a lunch or snack or anything from there. All they done was coffee, and it was pretty cool. But for flavour and taste and a little caffeine kick, Black Remedy was my favourite. So if you're ever going to Barcelona, visit Black Remedy Coffee, and I'm sure you will love it. The food, all freshly made, salads, cakes, everything, you name it, it is delightful. So that was, you know, our sort of couple of days between the Barcelona marathon on this half marathon on the Sunday. I wasn't easing down for the Barcelona half, so my week looked like on the Sunday before the Barcelona race, I ran 18 miles. The Monday, standard 12. Tuesday, I moved my session to Wednesday just so I didn't have to do too many easy runs before or after the session. So I done 12 miles again on the Tuesday, and then I done 10 by a K on the Wednesday with a minute recovery, starting at around 5:15 pace per mile and getting down to 5-minute pace per mile. So that's anywhere between 3:15 a kilometre and 3:08 a kilometre. Just going nice and chilled. Also trying to recover from the Renfrewshire 5-mile race that I done this Saturday, the weekend prior to the Barcelona half. I had a pretty shit race that day as well. I averaged 5:18 a mile, which is pretty horrific, considering that, you know, my half marathon best is about 5:04, 5:03 a mile. I'm just literally just getting back from, you know, the bronchitis and an Achilles injury, so I wasn't expecting much, but I was probably expecting better from myself there. But again, like episode 6 where I was telling you about me going through a bit of a bad patch, my mind kind of wasn't in the right headspace to hurt my body at the Renfrewshire 5-mile race, and I didn't race too good, didn't run too good, and didn't place too well either. I think I was 7th at the race, and I won it the year before and ran faster last year also. So, you know, I was pretty down again. I was like, you know, do I really want to pursue the London Marathon? Because, you know, running is a hard sport if you're all in, never mind half-assing it. So, you know, I was kind of back in a bad place again, going, you know, 5:18 average, it's not great. You know, that's the pace that I want to run for a full marathon, and I've got 21 miles to go. So, you know, I didn't expect much from the Barcelona half, to be honest. So, you know, I done the 10 by a K on the Wednesday. Thursday, like I said, got into Barcelona, ran a lovely 12 miles along the seafront. The Friday, I done a 12 miles as well, but I done it in a 7 miles in the morning, 5 miles at night double. And then on the Saturday, I ran 5 miles just as a single run, just because my coach was pleading with me not to do 12 that day, so I had some freshness in my legs, not to overcook myself, so that I'd have a more positive performance on the Sunday than I did prior on the Saturday. So my expectations going into the Barcelona half were literally to run 70 minutes. That was it. Wear my heart rate monitor, don't go above threshold heart rate, and run 70 minutes. So that's 5:20 mile pace, which will give you a 2:20 marathon, and that's all I'm looking to achieve at the London Marathon. So, you know, wake up in the morning. Well, actually, I didn't really get a good sleep that night. This is pretty embarrassing, but sometimes when I need a poo at night time, I can't actually physically poo, so I just toss and turn until the feeling goes away. And I got that feeling around about 4 o'clock in the morning on the Sunday morning before the Barcelona half. I was just tossing and turning, getting up to go to the toilet, nothing was coming out, false alarm, back to bed, trying to get to sleep. Couldn't get to sleep because of the feeling of needing a poo. So I was like, oh, fuck's sake, like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be knackered by the time the race comes along. But like I said again, I calmed myself down because, I was only racing and it wasn't that big a deal. So the alarm went off at 6 a.m. Me and Craig located a little cafe that was open, just a few hundred metres down the road. Cafe 365 opens at 6 a.m. So that was a perfect spot to go and get a wee coffee, a wee pre-workout, and then actually I had 2 coffees. So I had 4 shots of espresso, had a little muffin, a little sort of Madeira cake muffiny thing to get my carbs in, and a little yogurt with cornflakes. So that was my pre-workout before the race, to get some carbs, get some fuel, get that energy in before the 13.1 mile tempo. So yeah, we got to the race, we warmed up, 3 mile warm up by me, just because I wanted to make sure I wanted to do decent mileage. I wanted to do at least 19 to 20 miles total volume that day. So 3 mile warm up, 3 mile cool down, the 13.1 mile tempo. As the gun went, the race was manic. There was just bodies everywhere sprinting to the front. I mean, I know the Kenyan ladies were way ahead of me, but there was even European chicks round me, and I was running 5:10 a mile pace. I'm going, this is absolutely ludicrous. Why are you people here right now? Like, that is too fast. That's like 67 minute half marathon pace. If they kept it up, they were going to blow up. It's just bodies everywhere, and you can kind of get lost in that whole, everybody starting fast. But I just looked at my watch, saw the pace, it was at 5:10, just trying to get through the madness, not getting tripped up. And then by the second mile, I was back to sort of 5:19, 5:18 pace. I think it's on my Strava. You can go and look at my splits on Strava and see that, I started to hold myself back a little bit and sort of run 5:19, 5:18 pace for the second mile, third mile, fourth mile. But all I was doing was actually, I had my Garmin set to my heart rate, and I would just look at my heart rate, and I didn't even know how fast I was running. So me and Craig, we just made a pact to stay together the whole way. And it was amazing, either he took the pace, or I took the pace, or somebody, we found a little group and we ran with them. But there was always a body to run with, which was amazing. Like, the Barcelona half was amazing. It's a lot different from the Glasgow half that I've ran it before, because sometimes you can find yourself in no man's land. Whereas I finished 103rd place at the Barcelona half, 103rd place, and I ran 68 minutes and 22 seconds. That would place you in the top blooming 15 or 20 in other half marathons around Britain, but yet I was 103rd. It just shows you the depth that's at the Barcelona half. So if you are looking for a fast half marathon, and you are looking to do one abroad, and just have like me and Craig done, just have a really good time while you're there, in a different environment, different scenery. You really don't know who you're racing. There's no pressure on you to beat anybody, because you don't know anybody. You're just going to run hard and just stick with people that are running similar paces to you. It's actually such an incredible event. The weather was perfect as well. We started at 8:45 in the morning, and it was a little bit windy, but not too windy to the fact that it was going to sort of hamper your performance unless you went off too quick. So yeah, I totally recommend it. And as we got to about 2k, there's a slight rise. From 2k to 4k, there's a slight rise, and then after that you go slightly downhill for a while, and then it flattens off. So again, I was just making sure I was looking at my heart rate, and my watch would bleep and tell me my mile split. And yeah, if you go into my Strava, if you follow me or whatever, you can see that I progressively get faster, but you can see that my heart rate never goes out of my tempo zone, which is anywhere between 166 and 171. That's my top end tempo pace. And it was great, 68.22, not breaking into over my tempo heart rate was excellent. So I am really, it gave me a massive confidence boost after 7 days prior, kind of feeling a bit down in the dumps with not performing to my, you know, where I felt I could be. So it's given me confidence this week as well, as I'm doing this podcast on the Friday after the half marathon race. So, you know, my spirits are a little bit higher now, which is amazing. I do feel that when you put yourself in a race situation, you can race yourself fit. It's, you know, it's good. It brings you on a lot more. I do believe that you can race yourself fit if you kind of check your ego at the door and just don't get caught up in where you're going to finish or how fast you're going to go. It's all about using the races as a stepping stone towards the bigger picture. And the bigger picture for me is April 26th, the London Marathon. And just now, you know, target time being 70 minutes and overshooting that by 1:40. I'm so happy that I'm kind of getting back to where I want to be. So no, everything's all good. You know, I'm on the right track, mentally and physically. I'm getting back to my best, and you know, just hoping that this weather storm Dennis goes away and the rain stops in Scotland. You know, I thought it'd be dehydrated by now, but the amount of water that it's been expelling. But hey ho, that's where the cookie crumbles. And yeah, you just sometimes got to get on the treadmill, or if you can't go on a treadmill, you just need to, you know, you need to suffer the elements. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. You know, just a little update on the Barcelona half. I do recommend, I'm going to go back next year because it was such a great race. It was such a great environment. The depth was unbelievable. If you do want to run a personal best over the half marathon, I totally recommend the Barcelona half. So yeah, you know, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll send out another one. But again, thank you for listening, and thank you for your comments from the last podcast. And yeah, I hope you listen soon. All right, take it easy, and it's good to chat. See ya.